Hey guys, what's up? It is I, Josh Music here again, and I am here with a kind of a persona list for you. I was looking for a reason to talk about this game, and I think I have finally found one that can actually be used. So, you probably clicked on the title of this video expecting this to be a video about my favorite husbandos from the Persona series, when no, I just used that because that name gets clicks. No, this is just a list of my top 5 favorite dude characters, I guess you would call them. And this list isn't really going to dive deep into their character. It's kind of going to be an overview. That way I can avoid spoilers and any trademark things. So I'm going to do a top 10 list instead. That way I don't get trademarked by Atlas of America or Atlas of Japan, because I really do not want to get copyrighted. So therefore, I'm gonna be just putting this little list together, and yeah, I hope y'all enjoy. So first up on our fancy schwancy chopping block is probably a character that I wasn't specifically certain if he deserved to be on this list, so that is why he goes at number 10. While he isn't my favorite, he's also not my least favorite. I really like this character. And it is Ryuji from Persona 3. At least I think that's how you pronounce his name. Anyway, this character is interesting in the simple fact of you get a choice with him in the game, whether to kill him or not to. Now, I will leave it up to you to decipher that however you want. A picture of him should be on screen right now if I can get it. I don't know if I can. But yeah, Ryuji, he is an amazing character, very fun-loving, very bouncy, and that is the main reason he's on this list, is because he is such a fun character. Now, next up is a character that I didn't really like him, but he was pretty chill. And that is Kin from Persona 3. Now, this character is a character who has lost his mom. He's basically lost everyone close to him. He's kind of a sad character. I don't really like him that much, but he kind of has to face something that is not really good, and it basically turns this kid from an innocent, fun-loving kid into what we see later on down the line. Like, the kid's like a 5th grader. That's why I keep referring to him as a child. But yeah, that is why he ranks at number 9. Now, coming in at number 8 is a very peculiar one, but it is Shinji from Persona 3. Now, the best I can chalk this character up to is it is essentially Atlas's version of a drug PSA in Persona, because it gets brought up that he cannot control his persona, so he takes these weird pills and stuff to control it from killing him. Not that that matters, considering what happens to him later on, but still, that is aside the point. Yeah, it's revealed that he takes these pills to control his persona and keep them from killing him. Now, he is a pretty cool character, but he is not better than our next entry on the list, which is Akihiko from Persona 3, aka Shinji's best friend. Or at least that's what he'd have you believe. Now, Akihiko is one of those characters that the only word I can really use to describe him is protein power! Now, next up is a character that we all know and we all love. And he is actually in every single one of the Persona games that I know of, except for Persona Q and I think Persona 4's fighting games, and Dancing All Night, but that we'll probably move on to that one at a later date. But it is Igor from the Persona series. He is basically the master of the Velvet Room, as Elizabeth, Margaret, and all of them people call him. He is essentially one of the characters that helps you along your journey, and he has several lines of dialogue spoken. However, I believe his character is delve into probably the deepest in Persona 5. But it is also a little weird because it probably shows his character being the weakest. But that is all I'm going to say there because I can't spoil Persona 5 as much as I want to. Now, as for our next pick, it is kind of a tie, really. I couldn't... Actually, no, that's going to be up next. But this one is everyone's favorite Cabbage Man Adachi. This character is voiced by the protagonist of Persona 4 in the animation, which just makes his character like 10 times as cooler. But this man enjoys cabbages, talking about murders, and so much more. Cabbage Man Adachi. He is kind of a bit of comedic relief in Persona 4, but he's also a very deep character that is a very well written one at that. However, he is also, and spoiler alert for Persona 4 if you haven't played it because I can spoil that game, but he is also the one that's been throwing people into the TV in that game and manipulating the other guy into throwing people in for him. So yeah, that is why he makes this list. Is much like in most of the twists in Persona 5, this guy, you'll just never see it coming. Okay, so up next might be a bit of a controversial pick, but it's a bit of a tie, really, because I can't decide which of these characters I like best. Because, to me personally, they are very much the same characters. It's just one is kind of an updated version of the other, and that is Junpei Iori and Yusuke from Persona 4, and Junpei is from Persona 3. Now, I like both of these characters. They're the best friend character to your character in Personas 4 and 3, and they are both very deep characters, and they both each have their little quirks, but with their behavior and where they fit into the series, they are very much the same character. Now, I know that is going to be a controversial thing, why, but I should have a video coming out here in a few days talking about, why they're the same in my mind. I also threw in some things about Ryuji, but I recorded the video like way before I played it, so forgive me for my ignorance. But with that being said, on to our next pick. Now, my next pick is probably the punniest character in all of Persona, and that would have to be Teddy from Persona 4, or as I like to call him, Best Bear, Fight Me. Now, this character is in Persona 4, and he's revealed to be a shadow of sorts, and he has somehow become sentient. Now, technically this is kind of cheating, but he is constantly called a boy, so therefore he is one of my favorite boy characters in Persona. And he's probably also the punniest, but also the most annoying at the same time. And I personally really like him. He is probably my second favorite character in Persona 4, but we will touch on that in a second. Now, for my second place pick of Persona. And as far as second place goes, the one thing I can describe about this character is, dear God, does he like to sleep? I mean, mother of God, how much can one cat sleep? And as by that you probably know who I'm talking about, Morgana from Persona 5. This character is probably the sleepiest character I've ever seen in my life. It's like, oh, you've done nothing today! I bet you're tired, right? You want to go to sleep? Like, seriously, I spent 117 hours with this character, and all it wanted to do was sleep. But Morgana is basically the mascot character of Persona 5, and he's also one of my favorite characters because, like, you do feel a bit of an emotional punch towards the end. When Morgana finds out some stuff about himself, you will feel the emotional impact of it. Especially towards, like, the very end. Like, you will start to notice stuff, and Morgana is really one of the better characters in Persona 5, and probably my favorite character of Persona 5, other than Mr. Sassmaster Protagonist over here. And with that being said, I'm moving on to my number 1 pick. Now, if you've been on my channel for any amount of time, you probably know who this is going to be. He is my favorite character because of what makes this character really, and plus who he's voiced by. He is voiced by Troy Baker. It is Kanji Tatsumi from Persona 4. Now, he is my absolute favorite character in all of Persona, mainly because of the Shadow Kanji dialogue, but he also has a bunch of, hey, I want to be me, and he's basically like the tough guy of Persona 5, so really, he shares some similarities with Akihiko, but he's a bit deeper, because Akihiko, to me, is kind of as deep as a pond, but still he's pretty cool. But Kanji Tatsumi is voiced by Troy Baker and Matthew Mercer, and they both do a fantastic job of voicing this character, and that is what makes him one of my favorite characters. Not only is he well voice acted, but he is also one of the better characters in the Persona games, just in general, because of how deep he is, and not to mention, any scene with Shadow Kanji is probably the best scene in Persona. There, I said it. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this little top 10 of my favorite guy characters in Persona. Now, I will also be making a list of my favorite Persona, like, side character Personas, and I will probably make a list of, like, my top 5 favorite looking protagonists, because the protagonists are basically just gigantic blank slates. So, if you guys want that, put down in the comments. And don't forget to like, favorite, and subscribe for more Persona content coming in the future. Now, I'm gonna be honest, I really love these games. I think they're some of the best games that PlayStation has to offer, and if you haven't played them, what are you doing with your life? Go out and actually play these games. They're super fun, highly recommend. All of them are 10 out of 10s. I can't speak for the first 2 on PS1, however. That is rather unfortunate. But, with that guys, I'm gonna be leaving you, and don't forget, check the notification bell to be updated on my next Persona video. I've been the Fedora Gamer, signing off. Peace. And I hope you all enjoyed.